Alright, what is up everyone? Today we are going in on a subject that is so simple, so easy in front of our eyes that we do every day, and that we don't even realize it. And that it is happening even right now as we speak, as you're watching this video, even when you sleep, we are always breathing. So we're going to go in on the subject of breath work, how this stuff works, what is it, what is so special about this breathwork thing. You might have heard about it, you might have heard other people doing it, some sort of insights to the benefits, and you're like, this is kind of weird, or it's kind of strange, but there's something to it. So we're going to go in on what makes this stuff so special, and why do people even get into it? Why would someone even consider manipulating their own breath? What can be accomplished by something like this? And finally, I'm going to cover my journey getting into breath work, learning about it, my experiences, and what has led me to my current practice today that is one of the best habits that I have, how I got there, what I do for it, and what that does for me on a daily basis. So let's dive in. Alright, so what makes this breathwork stuff so special, so good for you with all these benefits? What are the benefits that actually come from it, and how does this work? So, you may have heard some names or breathwork types that exist out there. The space is getting really big. It's blowing up. This breathwork stuff is out there. There's some notable people out there. You may have heard of Wim Hof, the Wim Hof method. He really brought his breathwork style and what he does into the mainstream spotlight. So you might have heard of that. You might have heard of Breath of Fire. You might have heard of DMT breathing, holotropic breathing, all kinds of different breath works, and that may have led you to here. So some of these benefits that we get from it is that this is such a simple, easy practice. First of all, there's nothing needed. There's no extra equipment needed. You don't need to buy anything. You don't need a course for this stuff. We don't need resources. Air is all around us, and if we have access to air, we can move forward with our breath work. And doing so might give us more energy. Sometimes it reduces anxiety or depression or mental chatter. Some people have mentioned when they do their breath works. Feelings that feel good, that really boost our oxygen levels in our body, getting our brain to function at a higher level, encompassing more of our brain when we do our breath work. And this stuff can be used to relax at night too, to calm ourselves down. Even simple breathing techniques, when they say to slow down your breathing, is breathwork. It is a form of breathwork. And if you're an athlete, you know about that. You know how the breath can get out of control when doing an exercise, and paying attention to it and focusing on it really does impact our physical performance in sports. If we're working out, if we're doing a heavy lift, we have to use our breath. Sometimes we use it to brace our core, and sometimes we use it to keep a steady hand. Sometimes we have to reduce our breath so we can really focus and get really in tune with our body. So those are some of the things that makes it so special. Breathwork is always there, and it can help us improve our functioning of our body on a day-to-day basis, or whatever sports that we're doing, and it can get rid of anxieties and feelings of nervousness. And on this journey of breathwork and learning about how to manipulate our breath, you might be thinking of some benefits for yourself. You may be getting into this for the first time, like, how do I do my first breathwork session? Am I going to do this right? Why would I even do this in the first place? There's something interesting about it. There's many reasons, and whatever that reason is, hopefully we cover it in this video, and dive into it to see if this is something that actually would benefit yourself as a habit, or even if you try it for one time ever, just as an experience. And it's really cool because it's not one of those things where you have to keep it up as a habit to see major benefits. Sometimes even during the first breathwork session, you'll know if this thing works. You'll know directly how it feels, and you'll know directly right away, like, oh, this definitely is a good habit. I'm going to keep this up, or maybe I need to change something about it. And this brings us to how I got into my breathwork practice and what works for me. So I started this a few years ago. Not sure what got me into it. I think this was the time when I was learning about yoga, meditation, and better health practices, and breathwork was one of those things that kept coming up. I heard of Wim Hof, and that's why I brought him up earlier in this video, because he was the main figure in the breathwork space for me at that time, and he was doing some pretty amazing things, Guinness World Records, and really pushing for cold exposure and showing what the human body can do with breathwork. And that really caught my attention. Being physically active and doing sports, that is what attracted me in terms of getting better and increasing physical performance, increasing mental capacity, being in that mind frame to accomplish really, really cool things. So looking at Wim Hof, that was one of the main things. So that really got me into the space, and his breathwork style is pretty simple, and that is pretty much what I do on a daily basis, is the Wim Hof method. And I find it to be amazing. I've been on and off, honestly, over these past few years. I'd say maybe about 5 years at least of doing breath work inconsistently for the first few years. And every time that I do get back into it, I'm like, I need to do this every single day because it feels so good. In my case, I use it in the morning to kind of jumpstart things and get things going. Obviously, we want to get the best sleep and feel really good in the morning. But if we don't, and we do this breathwork technique, or even if we do feel really good in the morning, doing this breathwork technique, I think, makes it a much better start to the day. I find that it's like a rush of energy, and it gets me going, feels in a good mood automatically every single time. Everything feels better. It feels so much better when I do this breathing exercise. I do 3 rounds. I cover this in another video where I do it step by step of how to do the technique. So you can check that out. I'll try to drop the link somewhere in this space so you can reference that. But long story short, it's 30 breaths, hold out, hold in, and that's 1 round. And I do 3 rounds of that, and I find that can be done within 10 minutes. And it can be done within 10 minutes somewhere in the morning, and there is absolutely no need for any kind of coffee or any kind of other stimulation first thing in the morning after doing this type of breath work. So like I said, that feeling on the brain, if it's foggy, if it's like a bit groggy in the morning, or it's not feeling too well, or even a little bit of discomfort, I find that this type of breath work really gets things going. And as you can see in this video, after a few rounds of doing this breath work, I just enjoy the euphoric feelings and just absolutely lay down right afterwards. So I was outside on the grass, did the breathwork session outside with some fresh air, and anytime that it's done, ideally we can sit and enjoy and really pay attention to those feelings that are in our body. It's going to feel like a high. It's going to feel like a high. Wim Hof mentions this all the time, and he says, get high in your own supply. And it is a really good feeling, what it does for the brain, what it does for the body, and our overall mood and feeling. This absolutely smashes away almost any negative feeling in our body or mind, or any thoughts that we have. So I'd highly recommend it. So that's breathwork. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about breathwork, where you're at on your journey, and enjoy.